Welcome back. All right, we're here yet again. Smegger family. Hopefully everyone is doing well, doing great, doing fantastic. Of course, as always, it is positive energy and it's positive vibes, and we are back with yet another live stream. So tonight, indeed, we have a special guest. It's always a pleasure when you get the opportunity to talk to a brand owner, creator, just these opportunities of, speaking to brands that really identify the space, and that is a space of course, fragrances, but so many other things are in that pot, right, when it comes to fragrances. So tonight we'll be talking to Mr. Christian Petrovich, the owner of Argos. All right, so he has 2 new releases. They've been kind of running around in the community, and we're going to catch up with Christian, see what he has going on, get his thoughts on, these 2 new releases, the creative process, what went into this, what went into that, and how he's feeling, since the releases have come out. And of course, what is next? That is always the question. What is next? All right, so Smegger family, drop your sense of the day. What are you wearing? What's the vibe? We're going to kick it with the chat for a little bit, and then we are going to bring on Christian and have a conversation, man, and see what he is up to and see what Christian has going on. So let's go to the comments and see what we got going on tonight. All right, first up in the house at 11:02, the Chad was ready for the live. He was ready for the live. What's up, Dedrick Smegger family? Send today is Yeoman Lales, Chillax. Talking about sorry, Geen in Lavelle. Yin so close, Chad. They have fun with who's first in the comments of the live streams for sure. God bless Smegger family. Hit that like button, pay those ties. My fragrance of the day is a Tafa Assad. First Geen, now Chad with the rolling them eyes emoji. Tonio in the house. Oh yes, sir. Can't wait for this one. What it says, yeah, so I found out about Adonis Awakens. Yep, don't spray 3 spray. Wait, what it says? Don't overspray. 3 sprays is all you need. I almost choking myself out. It's a beautiful rose fragrance. Yeah, I mean, if you know Argos, you're going to get that quality always. You're always going to get that quality for sure. And you don't need that many sprays for sure. IBG in the house wearing Boss Bottle Absolute. Percy in the house wearing Mancera Black Gold. M.A. Styles wearing that Panic Attack. Yes, sir. That's some good stuff there. Dan That the Man wearing Zaharoff's Precious Treasure. Another good one. Barry in the house wearing Day 3's A Scandalo. I love that name. A Scandalo. Kevin in the house. Good evening, Smegger family. Scent of the day is Nazar's Black Leopard. A lot of love for Nazar in the house tonight for sure. Kevin straight out of North Philly. We understand it. All right. Rock Boy T in the house. Showing love. JT, what's up, my man? Ready for some heat. Scent of the evening is Sacred Flame, man. Sacred Flame, man, just really kicked in the front door of the fragrance community when it was released towards the end of the year last year. Late last year, and it's really good. It's a really good fragrance, and I feel you, man. E Riza wearing Sweetie Aoud by the Roja Dove. Rock Boy wearing that Nazar Pie and Cognac with Jay Chantel's 87 half for sure. Mike in the house, the Fragrance Fraternity wearing Mancera's Black Gold. I seen a couple of black golds in here. Y'all doing y'all thing for sure. Jason in the house. What's up, Dedrick? What's good, Jason? Scent of the day is Burberry Hero EDP. Good stuff. Got my pops in the house showing that love. Hello, Smell Good family. Dedrick in the house. Dedrick Senior in the house. That is the senior. I am the junior. And my pops is wearing Sacred Flame. My pops is wearing Sacred Flame, so he is a fan of the brand. I'm gonna tell that story to Christian in a little bit. How my dad got hip to Argos, and he's loving it for sure. All World Fragrances in the house. What's going on? Dave Webster in the house wearing Isimiyakin Noir Amber. All right. The Sun Devil. What's up with your Sun Devil? Hopefully you're doing well, my friend. Good to see you back out here with us, man. End of the day is Dio on Sport. Dominic in the house wearing Tom Ford's Oud Wood. Straight Lace in the house wearing Palace Athene. Oh, I'm telling you, Palace Athene gets slept on. Palace Athene gets slept on. It is a beauty for sure. Got my baby love in the house, showing that support as always. I greatly appreciate her for that. And make sure y'all hit that like button, please, and thank you. It goes a long way. It will let more people know that we are live. Okay. All World Fragrances wearing Soul Cafe, be jamming in the house wearing Jasada Ambassador Intense. What's up with you, Don? Glad you're rocking out with us tonight, wearing that Mega Mare. Okay, just ordered second bottle of Suspiro Dolce Melodia. Just had to, bro. I feel you, dog. Miss Cara in the house. What's up, everyone? Hit that like button and show some love. Scent of the day, collector's edition. I'm assuming you meaning the one from Afnon is what you're rocking with tonight. All right. Deacon Chris in the house. What's up, Dedrick? Gonna smell good, family. Scent of the day is Dumont Bravazano. It's a Parfums de Marley Carlisle cover, and it's good. That's what's up. That's what's up. All right. Red in the house wearing that Love Tafa Fakar. Brandon in the house wearing Invictus Parfum. I think it's Mazel Tov. Hello, new here, new to fragrance. I just have 3, but learning. Thank you. No problem, man. It don't take that much to smell great, but we're glad you're here rocking with us tonight for sure. All right. My man's Eric in the house. E. Kroon. What's up, D? Chat. Send of the day. Witty in New York. Shout out to Christian. The Argos group on Facebook is solid. Yes, for sure. No doubt. No doubt. All right. Where we at? Miles in the house. What's up, Miles? Eric says Palace Athene is the most underrated, Palace Athene, the most underrated gem, was only one with me when I said it was better than Adonis Awakens. Yeah, there is a conversation of Palace Athene and Adonis Awakens. And I'm with Eric. I prefer Palace Athene over Adonis Awakens. Both of them are great. But if I had to only choose one, I'm rocking with Palace Athene. That's just me personally. All right. Miles wearing that better but sensual. Cara says, damn, Pop's smelling good today. He ain't playing around. Yeah, my Pops ain't playing, man. I get it from somewhere, right? I get it from my Pops for sure. All right. We've made it to the end of the chat as far as right now. I see Kevin in the house from Lakeland. What's up with you, Kevin? Chris in the house wearing Mercedes-Benz Club back. Dan, not the man, also is rocking with Palace Athene over Adonis Awakens. It's a conversation. All right. It's a conversation. All right, y'all. So Christian is set up like he's ready to go. As soon as he gives me the thumbs up, we will get started with tonight, and we will have a good time. So we're going to get a quick music break and a swig of water, and then we are going to bring on Christian. Y'all hit that like button, man. We're going to have a good time tonight for sure. Okay. All right, y'all. So, of course, as you know, you see by the thumbnail, we are about to bring on Mr. Christian Petrovich, brand owner, just all world creative with everything that he does with the House of Argos. He just released 2 new, Christian's been on a roll. He's released, I want to say 4 fragrances in the last 6 months, I think. Maybe 4 in the last six months. Christian has been dropping them, and banger after banger after banger for sure. All right. So without further ado, we're going to bring him on. Let's start have a conversation with our guy tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, my man's Christian from the House of Argos. Christian. Can you hear me?
Hey, Dedrick. Is my mic working?
Yeah, you good. How you doing tonight, man?
Let's see if my mic's working.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm doing all right. Thanks for having me. How you?
Hey, man, I can't complain, man.
All right, good.
Glad to have you on tonight, man. Glad to have you on.
I got a little bit of a delay here.
That's okay. We'll coach through it. We're good.
How about I switch? Let me switch from my phone to the laptop. Maybe that'll speed things up.
All right, go ahead. Do your thing. We'll bring you back on when you're ready.
Okay, just give me a moment.
All right, so we're gonna let Christian do his thing. Got a little delay, but we're gonna take some more questions in the chat while Christian gets situated. So Argos, let's talk a little Argos. How many of y'all have smelled the new release? How many of y'all are curious about the new release? I think that like he's getting set. Okay, so I think that the two releases have really spun off, really positive in the community, especially one of them, Neptune's Trident, and we're going to be talking about that one. But Argos has built such a reputation, man. Honestly, a reputation. I was introduced to Argos about 2 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, and of course, my first experience was Triumph of Bacchus, and I was on a live stream on a What's in the Bag episode, and blown away. I was blown away by Triumph of Bacchus, and since then I've experienced quite a bit from the house, and legit one of my favorite houses in all of fragrances, for sure. In all of fragrances, no doubt. Chris, you give me the thumbs up. I'll bring it back if you're ready. All right, so he's giving me the thumbs up. So let's see if we're good. How we doing?
Now I think we're in real time.
Yes, sir. It's all good. All good. How's it going?
I got this new setup now. So I got 3 monitors, the front monitor, the Note, the Z Fold. It's just a little bit too much going on in here.
I feel you. You got, when you got that production going, man, things are liable to happen. For sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So how's it going, man?
It's going good. Just got back to Dallas a few days ago. In case people didn't know, I've been traveling. Usually every spring I'm gone. I'm out of the US. I'm in France working on the new creations for the next fall. So we've already done 2, and to put that in perspective, 2 new releases already this year. I only did 2 last year, so we're already up to what I did in the entire last year, and I've got 4 more coming. So it's going to be a big year, 2025. I was gone 5 weeks. I spend maybe 3/4 of the year out of the country. I'm traveling quite a bit. A lot of the time I spend in Turkey. I've got a villa there in Istanbul. So I go there. It's kind of central, so I can just fly to France in a couple hours, fly to Italy, wherever I need to be. But I did Essence this year, which was the first time I went to the Fragrance Expo. Okay. So that was a fun thing to kind of end my trip before I came back.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just good to be back. We've been having some crazy weather here in Dallas, but I'm catching up on a lot of things. Catching up on a lot of stuff that I'm getting behind on here. So I'm glad to be back. I'm here. Well, I leave again next week. I'm actually going to leave again next week. My son's, he's got spring break, so we're heading to Colorado to do some skiing. And then after that, I'm going to stay put until probably July, and then I'll head back to Europe again.
Nice, man. You're a busy man, and as you all hear, Christian is always on the move, doing this thing, looking to really continue to put Argos on a high pedestal and everything else that he has going on. If you didn't see the first interview I did with Christian at the release of Sacred Flame, I will link it in the description of this live stream. So if you want to get more in depth with Christian, he kind of explains how he got into fragrances and a lot of his business ventures and the way that he kind of thinks when it comes to this space, when it comes to fragrance. So I will link that in the description of this live stream. So Christian, I'm not going to hold you, man, a long time. I know you're a very busy man, and appreciate you making some time to come and hang out with me and the Smell Good family tonight. So as you stated, man, we have 2 brand new releases. Now, am I correct? You've released 4 fragrances in the last 6 to 7 months?
Yeah, if you include Sacred Flame, which I believe that was a September release, then we kind of held off on a Polonaise. We went right into Chiron or Charon's Veil, however you want to pronounce that. It's cool with me. We went right into that one. That was kind of the October-November release. And then now we're into spring, summer. So we've got the Prima Vera, which means the spring. And then we've got Neptune's Trident. So those are my 2. First time I've ever really released anything in the spring. Never. I'm usually, my fragrances are so dense and heavy. I
Mm-hmm.
like heavier wears. I usually only release in the September through the fall,
Right.
winter.
Right.
So this is something new for me.
And this was a huge shock, to the community, and it got everybody, on just all systems go, ready to experience these two fragrances. I know I'm just as hype as most people watching and most people who experience the two new fragrances. So, what was I guess the thought, the idea behind kind of stepping away from what you traditionally do with the heavier, denser releases? Why a spring or spring releases?
I got to listen to what the people want.
Mm,
They've been asking me to do a release based on Poseidon or Neptune. They're like,
mm,
when are you going to release a freshie? When are you going to put something out in the spring? When are you going to put something out that we can wear in the summertime?
mm,
Yeah, there's a few of my fragrances now that you can wear in the summertime, of course. But
mm.
you're in Florida, right?
Yeah, Florida. Yeah.
Yeah, so you get the heat, you get the
Oh yeah.
humidity. I'm in
Oh yeah.
Texas, so we get
Oh
the
yeah.
heat too. So it was time for me to create something that was more dedicated to the warmer, more humid or dry, but hot weather. So, in true Argos fashion, I had to do something a little different. There's so many fresh fragrances out there. That was part of the reason why I kind of shied away from putting out a fresh fragrance or a blue fragrance, just because there's so much out
Hmm.
there. I mean, look what Aqua de Parma does. It's like there's a whole house dedicated to
Yeah.
a fresh
Yeah.
aquatic summertime
Yep.
fragrances. And, there's a lot of great ones too.
Hmm.
Um, so I was like, it was not something that I really wanted to create. I wasn't really looking forward to doing that. But you know what? Now that and I did the Halloween release with Charon's Veil. I think I'm going to keep doing Halloween releases. Everybody really loved that. Now that
Oh
I got the
man.
spring release, I think I might do that every year. So it was kind of a test for me to see what I could do. And I wore it a lot last summer. I wore a Polonaise a lot too. But
Hmm.
Neptune's Trident, I wore that a lot. Prima Vera, and I was like, I was really looking forward to these releases, and I'm so glad to have them out, and to have them so well received is even better, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we can get into the notes and how that whole
Yeah.
concept
Yeah.
was and what I really wanted to do. Um, which one do you want to talk about first? I know you just did
Well,
two unboxing videos.
I did, and before we get into that, I do want to say yes. Like you listening to the people, especially for us who live down here in the South. Like you said, it gets hot, it gets humid, it's something, and there's a long period of time, that you kind of maybe, well, I do at least. I kind of go through like, man, I want to tap into my Argoses, but it's 1,000 degrees outside. But now we
Yeah.
have these options like Neptune Trident, that I am just amazed by, and that's what I want to start with. Neptune's Trident, and I do have unboxing videos on these two new fragrances from the House of Argos. You could tap into those after the interview if you want to hear more of my in-depth right away reaction. So Christian, let's go ahead and jump into it, man. Neptune's Trident, here's the bottle. Beautiful frosted glass bottle. Just look at the art, y'all. Look at the art, man. It is something to behold. Christian, I love the frosted glass. When you roll that out for Charnes Veil, it was just a nice touch. And then it really amplified the release, because not only was the Halloween release so just beautifully done as far as the rollout, all of the content, all of the photos before the release. Did you decide off of that you want to go along more with the frosted glass bottles, or are these here to stay, or is it temporary? What's up with the frosted glass bottles?
The frosted glass was really an experiment. I tried some electroplating, which I wasn't too happy with. I've even tried some other techniques too. There was a type of electroplating on the inside of the glass that was really cool, but I was really worried about that coming out. And I saw some other brands that had done that, and it was a difficult process. I'm still
Okay.
looking at some other manufacturers about doing that, because I think it'd be a really cool effect to have that
Yeah.
metallic look. And I was thinking about fragrances like Aurora, maybe making something that was kind of like techno colored, the glass, not like
Mm-hmm.
really pastel, but like something that almost looked like a rainbow when the light hits it. So there's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of cool effects that are available. It just, for me, it just drives me insane when things don't work out right, or the electroplating falls
Right.
off, or things don't work. So I really have to test things out. I've got a fragrance that's coming out later this year based on the mythology around King Midas and Midas Touch, and it's a fragrance that smells like gold. So right now I'm testing out putting 24 karat gold flakes in that fragrance as an option. So you'd be able to pick that, you know, if you want the gold flakes, because obviously those gold flakes are going to come out.
Sure.
So if you don't want that, there'll be an option that, you know, won't have the gold flakes, and there'll be an option with the gold flakes. But I want to know, is it gonna clog up the atomizer, because we have that special pressurized atomizer with that super fine particles. So I have to test all this stuff out before I roll it out. I can't, you know, once it's out there, then you know, it's hard to play catch up. So the frosted was something that I really tested. There was a black version, there was a white version. I really like the white. So of course there's MOQs. You have to purchase a lot. You can't just get a few. So I really just went all in on the frosted. I figure I could use these on a few different releases, and it's not something that I ever like, you know, this one's for sure going to be frosted. I have to see what the juice looks like. I have to work on the art plate and see if it really looks right. Like a Polonaise, for example. I don't want that one to be frosted. I want everybody to see that golden juice in there, because it really plays well with, you know, the mythology of Apollo, the god of the sun, and the artwork plate on the front. So it's not something that I'm just going to keep doing for every fragrance. It really is situational, and it has to fit the story. It has to fit the color juice. It's like all the stars have to be aligned, and that's, you know, that's when I'll choose if it's going to be frosted or not.
Yeah, I mean, it's an excellent touch. So, you know, and that's why, you know, Argos is a brand that always looking to elevate. You're always trying to, you know, tweak and raise the stakes, so to speak, with each release that comes out. So this is a beautiful, beautiful touch for sure.
Yeah, this is the first one that I actually went with the matte silver, and I've wanted to do that for quite a while. And I was going to wait. I was really waiting to see how it turned out for this Neptune's Trident release with the matte silver cap and the matte silver sprayer and the collar, because I'm going to transition the Pour-Homme over to a matte plate on the front. You see on the Pour-Homme, it's got that shiny silver. We're going to switch that over eventually into a more matte finish, because I think it's just a little bit more classy, more elevated. It's not a finger magnet, and it fits with the brand. And you know, anything that I can do to make things look better and more aesthetically pleasing, I'm going to do it.
Beautiful, beautiful. So let's get into Neptune's Trident. I'm gonna get a spray on my Argos blotter here. All right, because I have been spraying it. I'm gonna get a spray in the air as well. Let it kind of take over my airspace here. And Christian, right away in the air, I get this beautiful zesty citrus, this green, kind of fresh, spicy tone with the citrus. But as that starts to kind of settle into play, Christian, we start to get this tea. There's this tea note in here, actually 2 tea notes, I believe, black and green tea, that kind of represent the DNA here. Now, why tea? How did you come up with just the overall composition of the fragrance? Because it seems like everything with this fragrance is revolving around the tea notes.
Yeah, I had to do something different. Like I said, there's so many fresh scents out there. There's so many lemons and bergamots and mandarins and grapefruits. I mean, I could go forever on those. And, you know, there's a lot of fragrances that, you know, are decent. They're good. There's even, you know, you could wear Aventus. I mean, if you really want to wear that in the summertime, you can too. For this one, I really wanted something that was different, something that was going to set it apart, something that was going to be obviously extrait, because that's what I'm only doing now is the extraits. But the double tea was kind of an epiphany for me to get the black and the green tea in there. And then, you know, to get that ambergris accord that I created for this. I mean, there's a lot of amber extreme or lemolol. There's amber max. There's so many ambergris accords that really don't smell like ambergris. And I didn't want to go that synthetic route. I just wanted something that smelled like the sea. Like when you get the splash of the sea on the rocks and it sprays up and you get that foam. I really wanted to get that experience in a bottle. And that's what I was aiming for with this one.
And you really accomplished it, because immediately when I smell this in the air, and it's documented on the video, and when I'm in kind of, you know, letting it take control of my senses, it immediately, you know, smells like summer. Like down here, like where I am, it gets very humid, it gets very hot, and this is definitely a fragrance of Neptune's Trident that's going to complement the summer. But like you said, it's not going to be like your everyday, and I don't mean no disrespect by this, your everyday basic freshie, your everyday basic shower gel, clean and crisp fragrance. This has a lot of depth and it has a lot of character to the fragrance. So, you know, just continue to experience it as it continues to develop. The one thing that I do notice with that ambergris accord, it is so refined. It doesn't come off eggy or fishy or, you know, nothing like that. It's very complimentary to what you're getting with the teas and the citrus. So, you know, with that being said, when you got, how many different variations did it take to come up with this one for Neptune's Trident? How many did you go through?
This one it took about a year and a half to create. Like I said, I tried Limonol, Amber Max, and Broxton. I was working with a lot of synth just to kind of get into the mindset of creating a fresh fragrance. And then I wasn't impressed with a lot of the initial renditions. And I knew I wanted to make something with tea, and I had a couple other tea creations that I hadn't released yet. So I really focused on the tea, created my own ambergris accord. Obviously, we got the coriander, the petitgreen, you know, everything up top. But, you know, to get that ambergris accord in there with some natural, with the, you know, some other stuff around it to really bolster that up there, to get that sea salt accord with the tea. It really gives you that sea, that oceanic vibe without just being a basic freshie. It really does give it a lot of depth, a lot of character, and it fits the story. And I really, really take pride in you know, a fragrance that fits the story.
Yes, and we're going to get into the story in just a second, but I do want to read some of the notes that are with this beautiful fragrance of Neptune's Trident. Now, this is a part of the art series number 8. Top notes: mandarin orange, petitgreen, and cardamom. And as I spoke about that kind of green, spicy texture, the cardamom is really playing with that petitgreen to give that effect. It just really stands out to me, blending in with that citrus. Of course, as stated, you have green and black tea. You have orange blossom, jasmine, vetiver, amberette, and iris. All right. Those are the featured notes on the inside of the beautiful packaging for Neptune's Trident. So the stories, that's, you know, people get fragrances obviously to smell good, but when you're talking Argos, you're getting more, you're getting a full routed experience. Why Neptune's Trident? The story, all of everything that went into creating this and giving it to the people. Why name this Neptune's Trident? And what about this story that really captivated you?
You know, this wasn't a story like Danae that has a really rich, kind of seductive, almost X-rated type story. This was just something that I wanted. And not a lot of people know about that story, and that's part of the fun of it too. I can say a lot without saying anything. I could let the fragrance do the talking. But for this one, I just wanted to get something that was bold, that made a statement, that represented Neptune. And what do people think of when they think of Neptune? Neptune's Trident. That's a symbol of his power. And I wanted this to be a powerful summertime fresh fragrance that was different, you know, with the ambergris accord, the saltiness, you know, almost like that salty air. This wasn't like a particular story. Like you could actually, you know, Poseidon with Medusa and how she became Medusa. There's so many stories with Poseidon, how the horse, the hippocampus was created, the giants, the cyclopes, so many things. And that might be, you know, fragrances of the future. But for this first one, I wanted to focus on something that was powerful, that just represented the god Neptune, which would be also the god Poseidon if you're Roman or Greek. But, you know, I also had a thought in my mind of creating just a subcategory within the brand about some of the gods and what they're known for, what their symbols are, you know, what they're like, you know, you got Athena and her Aegeus, where she's got Medusa on her plate, or she's got the shield, or she's got the spear. And then you've got, I'm definitely making this one for sure. I'm making Zeus's lightning or Jupiter's lightning. I haven't decided what I'm going to call it yet, but that's coming out. I'm working on that one right now. That one might be next year or the year after. But I like the idea of having just like a subcategory within the brand of just the main gods with their main weapon of choice.
Nice. And this is put on full display, and as you can see with the packaging, you're never shortchanged with Argos. Now, Christian, I know a lot of it, well, not a lot of it, all of it is all just designed by you. So when you're going into the packaging, like, where does this come from? How do you script the packaging? How do you script the plates? Like, what goes into creating this experience for Argos fans who are getting a brand, well, not a brand new, any fragrance from the house? How do you go about doing this?
It's just all it's just artistic creativity. I'm just sitting, I storyboard it out pretty much. Like, I know I'm setting like subliminal messages out, even with the colors that I choose for the palettes of the box. So I got that sea green,
Beautiful,
that sea blue, you know, color when you first open and you pull out that leatherette box. It's almost setting the
beautiful.
table from what you're about to experience. Just like when you go to a restaurant and you're having a nice meal and you got the fine, you know, the fineries, the cutleries, and the plates and everything in front of you. This is setting the mood before you even experience the fragrance. So it's very important to me, the colors. I even put like the silver, the matte silver on the side instead of the matte gold, the matte, all the matte embossing, debossing. But for the plate, it was fun. This was actually the first time making a plate that I was able to use a little bit of AI to help me out.
Okay.
All the previous plates that I've done, I've drawn them all out. We'll turn them into an STL file, and then we'll bring them out 3D, and we'll give them some depth. And I've got another artist that works with me on that. I do the initial rendering, and then they'll turn it into the STL file, and we'll give it the colors. But for this particular one, I went. I was just playing around with AI, and I was like, let's put, you know how you do the words, and you put them in there, and it's like, okay, older man on a sitting in the ocean. It's like, okay, playing around with some AI stuff. But what it allowed me to do was really bring my vision to life a lot quicker and utilize the space that I have, because it's not a lot of room on that front plate. And as you'll see in some of the other plates, I've kind of reduced the size of the frame around. But for this particular one, I wanted to keep the frame with the 2 jewels, because I believe I'm already working on the one for Zeus, and he's going to have the same frame, and he'll have a couple of jewels up there. So that'll be kind of a series, and I want to keep that aesthetic the same for that one. But for a lot of the other plates, I'm taking away that frame, and it gives me a little bit more space, and every little millimeter that I get just allows me to be more creative for the artwork on the plate. And I really wanted him to be sitting. I was thinking of, everybody thinks of Poseidon and the Kraken. And, in some mythology, that's a squid or an octopus. So I was like, that would be so cool for him. I made the throne out of a shell, which was really cool at first. And then I was like, he's just sitting on a throne. And I was like, let's make this a little more interesting. And let's take the chair part of it out. We'll keep the clam or the oyster shell in the back, and let's let him sit on a living octopus with the one eye coming out. And I was like, that's perfect. So we were able to bring this to life. Let's see if mine.
It's crazy. It's crazy. The colors is what really, really stand out. That blue, the vibrance of that greenish aqua blue type color vibe. That obviously represents the water, and then the squid. I don't know if y'all can, let me see the eye. The eye of the squid really caught me when I was really detailing this fragrance. I'm just kind of look at the eye. If y'all can see the eye of the squid. I know it's clashing with my studio light just a tad bit there, but let me see if I can get as close as I can. But yeah, there it is, the eye of the squid. It's just remarkable. Just all of the work that goes into this, and Neptune's Trident, it's a true experience. And all my freshy lovers out there who are looking for, something that is going to keep you in that unique category when you're going about your summer, you're going about your spring. You can even wear this in the spring, but in the summer, I kind of feel like this is where this is really going to shine. That opening is one of the best from Argos, in my opinion, because you get that ripe orange, with that cardamom and that petitgrain, that give it kind of that fresh, spicy green feel to it as well. And then obviously Argos fragrances, they take you on a journey. And when you get to that salted ambergris, sea airy type of vibe, once you get to the mid and all the way to the dry down, it just completes the experience. So Neptune's Trident is definitely one to really get your nose on and experience for yourself. Now, a dope thing as well, there are card examples that are available. Card samples are available, and I have one of them here for Neptune's Trident. Beautiful artwork. You get the same experience, 30 ml bottles. 100 ml bottles, and then you have your card examples here for Neptune's Trident. So the experience can be whatever you want it to be. And I do have a code with Argos. You can use my code Dedrick10 to save you 10% on anything on the House of Argos. And I recommend sampling, but I get the blind buy itch. I get the blind buy shakes that you can get out there. But Neptune's Trident definitely qualifies for, as we say, a summer banger. It is going to be a summer banger. There's going to be a lot of conversation as the days roll on about Neptune's Trident, and just another successful launch from Christian. And, you know, and I say this all the time, before Argos knew who I was, before Christian knew who I was or anything, I was a fan of the house already. I have to give the biggest love to Jared, the Bishop Miller, for introducing me to Argos and sending that sample. Yes, Kalamazoo, Michigan. Yes, sir. He sent me that sample, Triumph Abacus, and it literally changed the game with my fragrance journey. It literally changed the game for me. And ever since then, I've been locked in with Argos for sure. So Neptune's Trident available right now. You can go tap in and see for yourself. Again, carded samples, 30 mLs, 100 mLs are available. And it's getting a lot of love in the community. I think, you know, as more people get their hands on the release and get their bottles in, you're seeing a lot of conversation of Neptune's Trident. And I got a feeling that, well, Christian, did you feel this way too? Did you feel that out of the two releases, because we're getting ready to talk about the second one in just a second, because I think that one is the more polarizing of the two. But did you feel like this was just going to be like a mass appealing hit, the Neptune's Trident? Did you kind of get a feeling of it, or was it just it didn't cross your mind, or is it a surprise to you that it's really rolling as it's rolling right now?
No, I knew Neptune's Trident was going to jump right from the gate. Everybody was just clamoring for a Poseidon themed, and that's another reason why I switched the name to Neptune too, because I want to be a little different. Somebody tells me to do something, I'm going to do it a little different. But I wanted to make something that was fresh, and I think right now our demographic is probably around, I think maybe it's probably 60-40 men, women, more women. It used to be like 80-20, but more women are getting into the brand now and into niche perfumery as a whole. But you know, and that doesn't really skew me one way or the other. Like I need to make a feminine leaning or a masculine leaning. These are all for me. These are fragrances that I love. These are fragrances that are stories that I want to tell. This is wearable art. You know, this is something that, you know, it's going to be in the 60-40 range, because I wear floral fragrances occasionally. I'll wear ouds. I wear a lot of things, and this is a journey for me too. My tastes have changed. I wouldn't be surprised, you know, if the evolution of Argos changes a little bit through the years, or I have some new subcategories that are coming out, just like the 12 Labors of Hercules is going to be more Middle Eastern style, more deeper, darker, resinous ouds and things like that. So, you know, it didn't surprise me whatsoever. The name even is kind of catchy too.
Yes, it is.
So yeah, no, it didn't surprise me. But La Prima Vera, I really wanted to follow up on Birth of Venus. And Botticelli is one of my favorite artists of all time. So I was like, I need to do a follow-up. And the perfect painting that I always wanted to do was La Prima Vera. There's so much symbolism and meaning in that painting. And to be able to recreate that painting through a fragrance was a fun challenge, because it's so much there for me to work with. If you look at the original artwork, all that green, all those florals, all that earthiness, you know, you've got Mercury in there, the three graces, Florus, you got Zephyr in there, and then obviously you got Venus. So there's just so much for me to work with on that painting, and it's so inspirational for me. Now that we're talking about that one, really, I needed to make something that was super special, kind of like what I did with Neptune's Trident with that ambergris accord. I really wanted to, you know, if you look at that painting by Botticelli, it's so green. I needed to make a green leaf accord. And that's what I did for this one. It really sets this apart, because I don't know of any other fragrance out there that has that green accord. And the meaning of the name La Primavera, the spring or springtime.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like I really accomplished the task that I
Yes, you
set
did.
out to create a fragrance that represent and embody the season
Yes, you did.
of springtime.
And this is my scent of the day. The Prima Vera from Argos. Here it is. This beautiful. This bottle is beautiful. It is stunning.
Yeah.
It is stunning. Now,
And
this is
it's polarizing, but you know, there's a lot of guys that, oh, heliotrope, rose. Okay, but
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I
I'm
do
not.
rose. I could put raspberry in everything and nobody would even know, or they would know, but I love raspberry and I could do it a million different ways. Same thing
Yes.
with rose. I could do it a million different ways. So don't let the florals scare you, because that if you give it some time too, when let it settle on your skin, you're gonna get that nice vanilla in the base. I
Yes.
mean, it's just creamy, earthy. You know, I've
Yeah.
got vetiver. Vetiver's in Neptune's Trident. I got vetiver in La Primavera. So don't just read the notes and
Right.
just assume that you know that this is what this is going to smell like. And it's going to smell a little different on everybody's skin too.
Correct.
These fragrances are a journey. These aren't true linear fragrances. I like the
Yes.
fragrances to kind of transition a little bit, to kind of meld a little bit and kind of move with the story.
I'm so glad you're touching on that, because I speak about it often on my channel, especially when it comes to florals. And, I encourage men to tap into the space of not trying to genderize a fragrance. I get it in the world that we live in, male, female, I get it. But when you're smelling a fragrance, a true art, a true creation, um, it's genderless to me. It's genderless to me. Like you're getting that experience no matter how it's marketed. Because for me, from what I've seen, this is the polarizing fragrance of the two releases. It's like everybody loves Neptune's Trident, but this is the one that is more challenging. This is the one that is more, it's intensified with their creativity. And what I mean by that is I wore this today. This was my scent of the day. And the way it's very breezy down here in Jacksonville, Florida right now. Very breezy, beautiful weather. We barely got out of the 60s today. So as I'm just maneuvering throughout my day, the breeze is picking this up, and I'm getting different phases of this fragrance throughout the day. But I'm a huge fan of that. If you have a rose and you can get an underlying base of vanilla and amber, you got me. You got me. And off my
And don't forget
skin,
the musk.
yes, and off my skin, the rose radiates off of my skin, but I get this underlying sweetness that really just kind of creeps in and creeps out, on my skin. And this is a beautiful, beautiful creation. If you love rose, if you're a connoisseur of rose, a collector of rose fragrances, this is a must. This is a must try. Now, I believe that this is not going to be for everyone. I truly believe that it's not going to be for everyone. There has to be, in my opinion, a true appreciation for the art. And that's what this is. This is art in the bottle. And Christian, you already touched on the journey, so to speak, of this story. What about, why now? Why release it now? Like, how good did you feel going into the preparation of creating the painting, the DNA of the fragrance? Like, it seemed like this one kind of, to my eyes, kind of tugs at your heartstrings a little bit.
Well, like I said before with Birth of Venus, it was so easy for me to just, I had so much material to work with, just looking at the artwork. I could have gone even deeper into the meaning of, the three graces and the birth, rebirth, and the renewal. And then you got Mercury parting the clouds, ushering in the spring. There was so many floral notes. And, I went and did my research, did a kind of a deep dive, and even researched what flowers were in the painting, and the woods and the trees of cypress and things. There was so much for me to work with on this one. What I didn't want to do, however, was, one of the other fragrances from my brand that I really love is Brovita della Caccia.
Right.
And that's another polarizing fragrance of the house. If you
yes.
go with me on that,
yes.
Because it's got the juniper berry and it's got the mate absolute. So it's a little herbal, it's a little sharp, it's got the leather notes and everything. I didn't want to rehash that one, because that one was true to that story too, with the hunter going through the woods. And I really wanted to recreate that wood scene and then him getting transformed into that stag and that deer at the end. I didn't want to revisit anything else that I'd done before. And that's one of the things that's a challenge for me going forward, is always trying to work with new materials and work, create new accords and just really, stay true to the story, but try to also explore and push boundaries for myself. This one, like I said, anything from Botticelli, it's going to have a ton of things, ton of symbolism, and a ton of stuff in the artist's art itself for me to choose from. So, in that aspect, it was not difficult. The difficult part was to make a floral type fragrance that still had the depth. It still had the transition. It still had the musk, the vetiver, everything in the base, the vanilla that would, play really well on the skin, and something that I would want to wear.
Yes.
It's really easy to make a polarizing fragrance that's just not wearable, or something that's just really loud. This one, this one's a beautiful fragrance, and I'm glad that you appreciate it. I don't think this isn't a fragrance for everybody. And, I'm also, like I said earlier, I'm on a journey and I'm exploring new accords and making new things. And I really love this fragrance for what it is. It's not like anything else out there. And it really is beautiful if you let the whole thing envelop you and kind of let it play on your skin and get down to the base.
Yes,
so,
you read my mind.
I'm really proud of both of these, but I'm really proud of this one too, even though the other one's probably going to get more, and it's gotten more initial, but I'm getting so much feedback either one way or the other. Like, I really love it, or, I don't understand it. That's fine. Everybody, like I said, everybody's on a different journey.
Correct.
And maybe I wouldn't have appreciated this fragrance 10 years ago. I don't know.
I think, like you said it well. I mean, the journey is the journey, whatever journey you're on. And I think as fragrance lovers and collectors and enthusiasts, there are fragrances, like Christian said, you just come to a point where you're just not ready for it. You don't understand it. It's not something that you can connect with. And I think this is going to be one of those fragrances where either you're ready for it or you're not. That's just pretty simple to me. Some of the notes in this fragrance, all of the notes, this is a beautiful breakdown. Top notes: bergamot, lemon, and that green leaf accord that Christian spoke of. In the heart, you get a very vibrant rose. The rose here is very vibrant. And I love it. I love the freshness that you get from this rose, and heliotrope. In the base, musk, vanilla, and vetiver. And like I said, on my skin, Christian, that vanilla is kind of something that just really comes and goes off of my skin. And the sillage with this fragrance is where, to me, the sillage of this fragrance is it's the real winner here, because if you spray yourself or you apply your fragrance in a manner where you're not kind of, just pumping it up on your chest or underneath your neck, you kind of allow it to breathe and just come around you and just kind of move around, kind of create like a force field, so to speak. I was just enjoying my sillage. And like I said, it was a little windy here today. It just kept coming and grabbing me, man. Coming and grabbing. It's still on me. I still smell it.
I love the longevity of this one. I love the powderiness of it. I love how it all plays together from the top to the floral in the mid and the heart, and then into the base, getting those musk, the vetiver in there. Most people aren't even going to understand that there's vetiver in there, but the vetiver, the musk, the vanilla, I mean, it melds so well together.
It's outstanding.
And it's so different. It's so unique.
Yeah. And you do rose really, really well. And when I smelled this, maybe, after a couple of hours, I got to thinking, like, man, it's kind of like this and the rose and love triumphs of a war are kind of related. Because in Love Triumphs of a War, you get that raspberry, and you get those kind of tart citruses with the rose. And that's the only rose, well, until this fragrance, that's the only rose that you kind of really did that with. Like, that's the only fragrance that you kind of did that rose with, that very vibrant, bright rose that I really enjoy. And then here we are again with help me out with the pronunciation, La Prima
Vera.
La Prima Vera. I hate butchering the names. La Prima Vera. You get that here. Am I accurate in that range where the brightness of the rose kind of maybe would remind you of the rose in Love Triumphs of a War?
I mean, that's for that one. I was more of a state of a mind of more of a top Middle Eastern style rose, but the powderiness, I think, is where you're getting the association with the florals. Because I don't do now. I mean, like I said, I do rose a lot, and they're so different. I don't even think everybody realizes how much raspberry and rose that I use. There's
A lot, yeah,
raspberry
a lot.
in Birth of Venus. There's raspberry in Love Triumphs Over War. There's so much
Yep.
raspberry that I'm not going to stop using it. But there's so many different ways. There's so many different types of ingredients, even with the raspberry, the aldehydes and other things. You don't have to make it the same way. I can get where you're coming from with the powderiness and the rose and how that plays. That's where I see the association. And it's a little bit, it's got that kind of aristocratic vibe. I think Love Triumphs Over War was kind of a little bit more aristocratic, a little bit more old French perfumery style, whereas this one's a little bit more Italian, a little bit, it still has the powderiness, but that green herbaceousness and the florals is kind of really balanced out with the green note, and then the underlying base notes with the vetiver, the musk, and the vanilla. So it's just like it's stacked so nicely.
Yeah.
You know, it just the way it transitioned is so beautiful.
Yeah, there are definitely two different fragrances. It was just the rose that just kind of stood out.
I think it's the powderiness of both of these two. I relate the rose with the powderiness and of both of these, because these are those two are probably the most powdery of all the fragrances that I've released.
Yeah, and like you said, you use tons of raspberries, and I wouldn't be surprised if raspberry was a hidden note in this one as well, to kind of really to kind of bring out that vibrant aspect of the fragrance. Because like I said, you know, you give us a note breakdown, and in most, you know, most fragrances and note breakdowns, everything's not available for the public to see. But Christian, you have a theme. Like there's some things that people know, they know what to expect. So if there is a raspberry, you know the raspberry is going to hit. If there's a cashmerean, you know the cashmerean is going to hit. Like there's certain notes that you have, I don't use this word a lot, but you've kind of perfected them and how you demonstrate them in your fragrances. So when you are testing new things like that kind of salted ambergris accord and this green leaf accord in here, are these accords that you are creating, are these accords that are just going to stay put here, or are you looking to transition them into future releases?
Well, I'll say both on both ends of that comment. Everything that I do and have learned builds upon the next. So it's, you know, in one aspect, yes, there's a little piece of everything that's going to flow. The DNA is always going to remain through and throughout Argos. Even the tiniest little bit, you'll still recognize, even with Nemean Lion. But it's like, it's so different the way that I can use raspberry. There's a million different ways I can do raspberry. There's a million different ways, obviously, I can do rose. I use vetiver a lot. I use sandalwood a lot. Sometimes I list it on there, sometimes I don't. Some of the ingredients might be the same, but the combinations, it's interesting. I've gone about recreating fragrances and recreated the same smell with different ingredients. And there's more than one way to get to the right result or the best result. So no, I don't think I'll ever use the green that green leaf accord that I created for this. This is like a one and done. But on the way to making and creating that accord, I've learned I can make other accords. You know, making the ambergris accord. You know, there's other things that I could do now. So, you know, my repertoire kind of grows, and what I'm able to create. Will I create it again? Will you even know? Probably not. You'll probably never notice that that green leaf accord again. I'll probably never use it, but I'll recreate something else. And I'm actually having a lot of fun making these accords right now.
That's so fascinating. That's so fascinating. That's so
really
fascinating.
With the Nemean line and the 12 Labors of Hercules, that's really kind of pushed me to start making some of these. I kind of, you know, with the brand itself in general, I love the creativity and how open I am with the mythology and so many stories. Like, it's endless. But with the 12 Labors of Hercules, I've kind of backed myself into a corner with some of these. You know, like when I get to the Aromanthian boar, am I going to make a bacon fragrance? I mean, I'm really thinking about, you know, how I'm going to make these accords to recreate the imagery and the story and the mythos, so that I can really convey the story appropriately through a fragrance. So yeah, it's tough, but you know, it's one of those growing processes, and I'm enjoying it now. With these two ones were probably the most that I've had to recreate something along the way, other than the Nemean line. That one was tough too.
Mm.
So, no, you probably won't have the green leaf accord or the ambergris accord, but there'll be so many more, because that's all part of how, recreating these stories is recreating some of these notes.
I think it's super fascinating, and I'm not a perfumer, but I can imagine how that goes when you're in the creative stages of a fragrance, and you actually like when you created the green accord. Did you just know exactly what it is that you were looking for, and you just went and created it, or how do you even get to that point to say, okay, this needs this? I need to go create and then add it to whatever, the base that's already been formed. It's just very, very intriguing to me as I'm infatuated with, perfumery and fragrances, and how gentlemen like yourself, create this stuff. That, to me, yes, I want to smell good every single day of my life. I want to smell good. But just everything that goes into it is what I'm really fascinated about. So to hear you talk about creating 2 accords that may never be used again, that are so good, it blows my mind. It blows my mind. So
well, most people don't know, but when you think of amber, what is amber? It's an accord. I mean, you got all these synthetics out there that try to recreate ambergris, and there's a ton of accords out there. And I didn't just start with nothing. I smelled other green leaf accords and green, I went back to some of the stuff I've created before, and I smelled some stuff that other houses and like Simrise and Givaudan and some places had already created, and I smelled those, and then I recreated my own. So it's, nice. I can't give credit fully to myself that I just invented it, but I'm building upon what I've learned, and being able to recreate some of these notes, like amber and green leaf and ambergris and things like that, is definitely something that you need to be able to do to be in this space, to be a perfumer, and to recreate these stories, because it's not all of these synthetics or these naturals are accessible, or they're going to smell perfectly and recreate or retell the story. So you have to create some things on your own.
Yeah, and it's like I said, I just love hearing the conversation piece of it, because it's not every day, you get to sit down and talk to a perfumer and to kind of walk you through these interesting situations where you're creating things like Neptune's Trident and here we go again,
Prima Vera.
I don't know why that's such a tongue twister for me, but La Primavera is available right now. All right. You have 30 mLs, 100 mLs. This is a beautiful bottle here. This is some of the most artistic creations that you'll get your hands on in perfumery, like, for sure. And then, of course, the carded sample. You are not shortchanged there in any way, shape, or form. This is the carded sample here. Just so beautiful. The information on the inside, the story breakdown, the notes, everything is available here. And I'm going to do a giveaway on these soon. So y'all stay tuned. I'm going to do a giveaway here and give someone an opportunity to experience the 2 new releases of Argos. So y'all stay tuned with some upcoming content that I'm going to be releasing soon. So, Christian, is there, I'm going to take a couple questions, because I see some good questions that, I'm going to ask you. Are you good on time? How are you looking with time?
No, I'm good.
Okay, awesome. So is there a kind of like not a bowl, because these releases have just come out. Is there anything else you want to add to just the 2 releases? Because they came out at the same time. So anything just from your, experience, just thoughts that you have gathered that you want to talk to the people about these 2 brand new releases of Argos?
Yeah, this was the first double release that I've ever done. I usually space them out, and it's usually in the fall. So obviously these are for the spring, and it was perfect for Valentine's Day. That's obviously a big, fragrance holiday. People get flowers, people get chocolates, but they also get fragrance, because it's a very intimate gift. So fragrances are the perfect thing for that. Nothing says, I love you, or that I know you, than buying somebody a fragrance. That's a big risky thing, to buy somebody a fragrance. So
sure.
I like it, and I like the way it turned out. We didn't do any PR for the release, and now those started coming out a month after. I really wanted everybody to get their hands on one of these because they were, I mean, the sales, especially for Neptune's Trident, were crazy. We were having a hard time keeping up. And I was really hoping to release a Polonaise shortly thereafter, but we're almost out of caps. So I've got another shipment of caps coming in, hopefully hopefully the next 30 days. So I'm going to push a Polonaise, hopefully till Memorial Day weekend, May 28th-ish, around that time. And going back to the other two, I think we discussed those thoroughly. I really enjoyed doing a Valentine's Day release. I'll probably, like I said, for Halloween, I'll probably continue doing Valentine's with a double release.
Nice.
Something that leans slightly masculine, something that leans slightly feminine, kind of staying in that 60-40 range. Obviously something that I would wear. I'm never going to create anything that I'm not going to wear. So, you know, with that being said, you kind of know what to expect in that aspect.
Yeah, I would love to see that continued series for Halloween and you know, with spring around Valentine's. Just a nice touch too for us to look forward to as fans of the brand, for sure. So we're going to take a couple questions for Christian. We don't want to take up too much more of his time. This is a very busy man. He's already, you know, he's came on and gave us some of his time tonight, so we definitely appreciate it. So we're holding strong with 98 people watching in the chat. We appreciate you guys. Can we get 100 likes? We are 15 likes away from 100 likes. Hit that thumbs up.
I gotta like it too.
Appreciate it, Christian. So hit that thumbs up. And if you're watching on the playback, definitely appreciate that as well. For coming through tonight, learning more about the House of Argos. So we're going to take a couple questions and see what you guys want to talk about tonight. So my man E. Kroom says, ask Christian, what's his favorite bottle presentation? Oh, Lord, out of his collection. That's a loaded question, isn't it?
That is, you know, it's an evolution for me. You've been from the brand from day one. We went from those cube bottles, which were really a placement holder, until I could get my custom bottles that came in. And then we did, you know, the placards with the two-tone. It was the silver and gold. And then I was able to do the enamel. And then I was able to add the crystals. So it's like, you guys haven't even seen what I'm about to come out with. I got a fragrance called Perseus Triumphant that I love the plate on that one. You guys are gonna love it when that plate comes out. And then even a Polonaise. A Polonaise is beautiful. I've got 9 Swarovski crystals around his halo, his crown, where the sunburst comes out.
Nice.
My employees are like, "What are you doing? This is all done by hand. Stop making us work so hard." So I think, you know, when a Polonaise comes out, people are gonna love that one. I think up to date, I really love these last two. The colors and the vibrant colors that are part of La Prima Vera.
Beautiful.
And then
beautiful.
Just the creativity behind Neptune's Trident, him sitting on that octopus. And I remember when I got that idea in my head, I was like, that would be so dope to have him sitting on a live octopus instead of a normal chair. So when I was able to take the bottom of the chair out and then drag that, you know, that layer of that octopus in there and match it up there and kind of move his tentacles, because that was the hard part, to squeeze the tentacles in there to fit on the plate. So these last two are my favorite so far, but you guys haven't seen anything yet, because when the new ones comes out, you guys are going to love the new ones too. So a lot to look forward to.
Awesome. Deacon Chris says, I live in Dallas. Do you have a store here?
We have, we're exclusively at the Scent Room in West Village in Dallas, Texas. So if you're anywhere near Uptown or West Village, there's a big shopping center in there, and there's a niche boutique called The Scent Room. I usually do at least one live event there a year. I encourage you to go over there, check it out. They've got, you know, they've got all the luxury niche fragrances in there, the stuff that you're not going to get at the mall. So check out The Scent Room. They've got the full line. If Deborah, the owner's in there, tell her I said hello. But, you know, I might be doing a release, you know, if I'm back in the US, probably sometime in August, September, I'll probably do a release party there, especially with the 3 releases coming up, September, October, November, at the Scent Room.
Looking forward to it, man. Looking forward to it. So I'm going through to see. Dan at the man asks, Dedrick, have you seen his refillable atomizers? I have not. I have not seen them. No.
I'm sorry, I didn't send you one. But we got the new atomizers. We've got 3 skins. And we actually had the Argos Fragrances Connoisseur Facebook group. They voted on this skin.
Nice.
But it's magnetic.
Nice.
Even the inside is magnetic.
Oh, that's different. Oh,
yeah. And then it's glass. It's not plastic. And then it's refillable. It's got the refillable port. Now these will work on the 100 mLs, not the 30 mLs. The 30 mLs collar is too small. So these are really, if you got the 100 ml and you want to travel, this will hold, I think, 60 sprays. Okay. Like that. We've got 2 sets where you could get the single. This one's the Gods and Legends, so it's kind of cool. It's got some of the fragrances that I've released. It's got Nemean Lion right there. It's got Phaeton falling down off his chariot right there. And some of the future releases that I may or may not have mentioned are on this skin. And then we just got the Argos logo right here. And then the Argos logo here with kind of a Technicolor. And then they come in 2 different sets. Let me grab this real quick. You got the single set, which will come with 1.
Okay.
And so you'll have the refill cartridge and then one of the 3 skins. You just pick it. And then we've got the travel set, which will come with one of the 3 skins that you choose. And then it'll also come with 3 cartridges so that you don't have to cross, the fragrances inside and refill it with another one and then have some weird smelling fragrance. You can keep them separate, but still use the same case.
Dope touch, man. A dope touch, man. That's really, really nice. I've never seen a double-sided magnetic refillable atomizer before, so that was really cool to see live like that. Really nice.
I thought we sent you one. Maybe next time.
Yes, sir.
I'll take this one out so you can see it. So I used the same style box just so you know what to expect. Still got that. That it's almost like the one for Triumph of Bacchus right here. That it's got the magnetic flap.
Beautiful.
So then when you open it up, it's got the atomizer sitting right there.
Nice.
Got a little plastic piece that covers the. There, take that out. And then these are 2 refill cartridges that you can swap out with different fragrances. So if you're traveling, for a month, you can fill all 3 of these up. Yeah. Should be good.
Yeah. Very nice.
Refill port right there.
Okay. Nice.
Even got Argos right there. Yep.
Nice, man. Nice.
So yeah, we just launched those, I think, in November.
Nice. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Always working, man. Got the
crystal on the top, just like we do with the caps.
Man, so aesthetically pleasing. Is what you get there.
Yeah, I'm starting to do more of the jewelry now for some of the customers. I had somebody ask me just today or yesterday about the men's long wallet. So started producing some of those too. Crocodile, ostrich. This one right here is leather, cowhide. That's 18 karat gold right there.
Nice.
This will hold your phone. Yeah, I'm getting into all sorts of stuff. Lifestyle.
I see.
Once you build the brand, that people want more. They want me to do more. Now, I've had people ask me to do cigars. I've had people tell me to come out with my own alcoholic beverage. We'll see. Time will tell with all that. Maybe there'll be a Bacchus series of cognacs and alcohols and wines. We'll see.
That's what comes with it, man, when you're doing your thing out here, for sure, for sure. I believe Christian answered this one on the last interview. He says, any plans of collaborating with another house? I'll let you answer that, Christian.
No, I've had a few distributors and retailers ask me to come out with, custom fragrances for them. And I might do that down the road if we end up working with like a Harrods, doing a Harrods exclusive or something like that, or one of my bigger distributors who's purchasing a lot. We might reward them with a custom regional release and then change, do a custom story and a placard and make something that's available in their region. Possibilities are endless there. But as far as collaborating with another fragrance house, I don't see that happening in the future. Now, I may come out with more subcategories within the brand, like the 12 Labors of Hercules. I'm even contemplating, because that one it's so time consuming making that fragrance and just sourcing the materials for that one. I'm taking my time with the rest. Obviously, the other 11, it might take me 20 years to complete the 12 labors. It might be my 12 labors.
Right.
But I might just switch up the bottle and the packaging on that and make another subcategory within the brand with a different aesthetic. Nice. I've been contemplating that too. So, nice. But no, I don't see myself working directly with another fragrance house.
Okay. All right, we're going to take a few more. Dan, not the man, says, Christian, is there any update on the Perfume reform?
Yeah, it's already been done. It was one of the things that I was there in France working on this past month. It's beautiful. I've updated it ever so slightly. Still powerful. I mean, it's going to be great. The only thing that I'm going to change on that bottle is I'm going to make that that placard, instead of shiny silver, it's going to be that matte silver, and then we're going to change the cap. That's going to be to commemorate that transition into the new. So I'm really updating it. And why did I do that? It was because, like I said, this is a transition. I mean, this is a journey for me too.
Sure.
And the things that I have available at my disposal now, the ingredients and everything, is just, it's light years ahead of what I was doing back in 2014, 2016, when I was first creating the Pour Homme and the Perfume. So yeah, it needed to be, and then they're beautiful fragrances. I love them, and I always want to keep them in the line. And I'm not one of these to make a men's or a women's, but this is like the introductory. This was like the intro into the niche house. So they've been updated ever so slightly. If you've never smelled them before, you smell them side by side, you'd have a hard time telling the difference, but I've really updated it, put a lot of the best, most highest quality ingredients, everything that I have at my disposal now, and really brought these two into the fold with the rest of the brand.
Of course, for sure. Looking forward to seeing
there'll be a Perfume too. Perfume reform.
Looking forward to seeing how those have been rebuilt for sure. Can't wait to see those. Austin Aromas is asking, Sacred Flame is one of the best things I've ever smelled. My belief is that the florals in it are the glue that brings everything together so flawlessly. How do you go about selecting florals?
I mean, the florals are kind of always, it's not the difficult part for me. The difficult part really for me is the top, the opening, because I really want to capture your imagination, your attention right from the get-go. So those fruits and everything that blend in there with the citruses, and then the base to make it last, are hard for me. The florals are pretty easy for me. The heart, it's really, those are the transitional notes. So it's not hard for me to pick those out. It's really, the marquee notes for me really are the opening and in the base. So, because that's going to give it that lasting power in the base, and how it's going to settle on your skin, and how it's going to, be around 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 hours later. And then you've got the star players. You've got the cinnamon bark up in there. You've got the peach. A lot of things that I've used before, I use them slightly different. Triumph of Bacchus also has peach. Yes. So, it's, for me, it's the difficult part is the opening and the end, not the middles. The florals are usually the easier part for me.
Okay. All right. Interesting question here from All World Fragrances. Will Christian ever consider some sort of a paid refill program? Would hate, I ain't tossing the thing empty or not, just me, but would hate to toss this bottle once it's empty.
Yeah, every time I figure that I want to make it a screw-on type of atomizer, I always just see this stuff pop up with people decanting and, reselling. And I'm just like so worried about stuff getting out there and another bottle getting filled with something and then resold to somebody. And then I had a situation too where somebody was getting decants, and I said, let me send it to me. And I smelled that thing. It was not Argos. I don't know what was in that, but it's a tough thing. If you want to recycle it, you can always recycle. If you want to keep it, you can keep it. Now, we could always break these things open and put a new atomizer. I can do that here. We've got the tools, and it's not hard for me to do. But then you got to pay for the shipping, and shipping is no joke either. You're paying, $13, $15 each way, $30. Really, we're getting to the point, and this is part of the plan and the evolution with the brand. I've always had it in my head, when we get to that 25 range, 25 fragrances, I'm really seriously considering opening up the first boutique. Now that we're talking now, either like in Paris or maybe in Cannes, not too far from my office in Nice, or maybe in Dubai or someplace, but opening up the first 1 or 2 boutiques in the next couple of years. Then when I have the boutiques, I would really consider, okay, now people have a reason to come into the boutiques. If you bring it in, then we can do it professionally. Nice. We could either take it off with our machinery and then recrimp it the way we crimp it using our atomizers. or at that point, when we start having more locations or even little pop-up boutiques within inside of other retailers, then we consider doing, something of a refill program. But right now, it just doesn't seem feasible with shipping costs, and even the way that some of these bottles and stuff are treated. When they're shipped back and forth, it's we do all we can to package these the best we can. I think we use the thickest BOP film plastic covering of anybody on the market. You probably know they're hard to open.
Yes.
It's all for a purpose. The EVA cut foam to hold that heavy, thick bottle.
Yeah.
Shipping is no joke. It's not cheap and it's not easy on the fragrance. So that's another hurdle we got to think of. I think when we get the boutiques opened, maybe in the next 2-3 years, we can start considering making refill an option.
Okay, nice. Dutch, I'll see when Christians get those fitted Argos hats in. I'll make sure that me and you get the first 2.
What do you mean, cover up my hair? What are you talking
about? Yeah, man. Shout out to my guy Dutch, man. Esteban says, I'm a fan of tobacco. I sampled Truffle Bacchus, but how did Christian approach Truffle Bacchus with that particular note?
I like tobacco fragrances too, and I used to smoke cigars. I don't much anymore. I don't have a lot of time. I don't even have a smoking jacket anymore. But it was always something that I wanted to have, and I really liked the smell of not dried, but I like the sweeter cigars. And pair that with the rum and the peach and the white apple and the saffron, and that was a fun fragrance to make. It was difficult. I had a lot of renditions. That was one of those fragrances that I kind of like threw everything in the kitchen sink at it, and I was learning, and I just ended up having to go back to one of the earlier, I think the first 5 formulations of that one, and just really rediscovering that one. I had to like forget that fragrance for almost a year before I really appreciated it and came back. So I love tobacco. I'll probably ended up using a tobacco in another fragrance, just a matter of time.
Nice, man. Thank you, Esteban, for the question. Thank you for everybody with their questions. We're getting ready to shut this down. Don't want to keep Christian that much longer, but everyone, I've been seeing a lot of the same question. Everybody wants to know what is actually next, Christian, from the House of Argos.
Well, this one's going to be next.
Okay, beautiful.
And I know it's not going to do it justice right here.
Beautiful.
But this is going to be a polonaise.
Beautiful.
And talk about accords. There's this cedar wood accord that when I was making it, I was just so transported back in time to when I was in school when we had those number 2 cheap pencils with that cedar, and you'd get that little thing and you'd shave it, the little pencil sharpener, and it just reminds me of that so much.
Awesome.
Some people are probably going to get that right off the rip when they start smelling this one, but hopefully we get our caps and everything back in, and we can release this one at the end of May. So that's the next. And then after that one, we're going to hold off until probably September. And then it's kind of like the regular scheduled program with Argos with our fall releases. We're going to have one called Fire and Desire, Vulcan's Revenge. That's going to be an epic fragrance.
Okay.
And then we've got one called Midas Touch. That one's going to smell like gold. That's the one I referenced before, where I just got the gold flakes in while I was out of the country. So over the next couple of weeks here, I'm going to start playing around with filling the bottle and the juice and everything and seeing how that plays out with the atomizer, making sure there's no problems there.
Nice.
And then we've got another one. What's the one based on Perseus and Medusa.
Okay.
So those will be 3 for sure for the fall, and then a polonaise. So that's 4 more on top of the 2 that we already did. That's 6, and that's a wrap. That's like the most I've ever done. And I don't even want to do more than 6. This is like, this is pushing it for me, just because they all need their time. Now, it's good to have these done in February because they're totally different. It's spring, and you got summer, and you got the fall, winter, and I love being the king of the fall with Argos and putting those bangers out in the fall. Heavier fragrances. And I'll always love that. But I think 6 will probably be the most I'll ever release in a year.
Yeah, this is an incredible year for.
You're off.
You could.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I know a whole bunch of people that's like trying to.
Yeah, they're gonna have a problem, man.
There's no time off. As soon as I released Neptune's Trident and La Prima Vera, people were already asking me when the next one was coming.
Yeah, man.
I'll keep them coming. No, I'll just say this.
Sure.
I had a great time. This was probably the most, even though I was sicker than sick when I was in, because when I left Turkey, when I left Dallas, it was 85 degrees. When I landed in Turkey, it was like 0 degrees Celsius. So it was like 30 degrees. It was snowing, freezing. Man. So we did some charity work, and we were, out and about every day in the wet, rain, snow. I got sick, and I had the flu, but I had to get back to France, and I had to work. There was no way around it. And even at Assance, I don't know if anybody could hear me on some of the lives that I did with other influencers and stuff. I was just so congested, which really affects me if you can't smell. So, but I got so much done, and I'm looking forward to, the next year too. I've already got like 6 or 7 that I've already handpicked. Like, these are the ones. We're kind of storyboarding it out. I don't even know how I'm going to have enough time to work on all the artwork and the plates, but hopefully AI will help me a little bit.
Sure. Well, Christian, you're on an incredible run. And I must say, just within the last 6 to 7 months, with the fragrances that you have released, have just really sparked the community. Because at its core, these fragrances are created and they're released to the world. The fragrance community, we get our hands on them, we're able to smell them and dissect them and really share our experiences. And, I think I'm assuming for you, when you get that feedback from real people who are holding these bottles in their hands and spraying them and wearing them to the office on dates or just everyday situations, I'm sure that is that the ultimate payback for you, when you get to see your creations in people's hands and getting to talk about them and let you know how they feel about them. Is that something for you that just kind of means the world to you?
It does. It really helps push and keep me motivated to make more and be even more creative, be more bold with the chords and the notes and the stories and everything. Like, you were starting to say that your dad, I think he was wearing Sacred Flame, was the scent of the day or something. I love hearing stories like that.
Yeah.
I'll get just random text messages from friends all over the world to be like, look, I'm in Spain. I'm in Marbella, Spain or someplace. And I just went to my friend's house and look what's in his bathroom. It's like, it's everywhere.
That's cool, man.
I mean, my bottles have definitely been more places than I'll ever be. So
that's cool, man.
It's
cool.
Nice to know that it's getting out there and it's so well received. And it, just like I said, it pushes me even more, emboldens me more to create even more fragrances.
Yeah, my father, man, he was in town for the holidays, and he came by the house, and every time he comes, he wants to go to the cabinet. He wants to go to the cabinet and see what's in there. He's been, he introduced me to fragrances when I was a young man. Calvin Klein Obsession was the first thing that I ever saw that I really gravitated towards, and it was my dad's bottle. And he was here, and he was smelling some things, and he picked up Sacred Flame. He picked it up. He put a spray on his hand, and I was really happy that I was at the angle where I was to just kind of see his face and his reaction. It literally took his breath away. It literally took his breath away. And I had a carded sample, and I made him a decant, and I, gave it to him when he was on his way home. And he called me a couple of weeks ago. He said, "Hey, man, that Sacred Flame is out for delivery." So he purchased a bottle of Sacred Flame, and he absolutely loves it, man. He is so amazed at what you get from Argos and the experience that you get from Argos. And my pops, he's in his 60s, and he smelled a lot of fragrance, and he's seen a lot of things, but he makes it clear that there's nothing like Argos. So for him, that's saying a lot. That's saying a lot. So yeah,
I appreciate that, and I love hearing stories like that.
I wanted to tell you that personally, man. Our
dads didn't have what we have available to us.
Right.
There's 6,000 fragrances put out every year. What did they get when they were in our age? They probably had like 15 to choose from, and it was mostly designers. So
yeah.
So times have changed, but the stories, I love the stories.
Yes, man. So before we wrap up, thank you, Jared. We have the Facebook group for Argos the link right now. Thank you, Jared, for the $5 super chat. There's the link right there to get into the group on Facebook for Argos, an elite group in this space. So there's the link from the Bishop. I'll pin it at the comments so you guys can tap into it and get more acquainted with Argos. And if you haven't experienced the house, this is something that I can't recommend enough. There's several offerings, and I truly believe that there's something for everyone over at the House of Argos. I have some great experience. I've let my story be known. Christian let me know that is Baccio Immortel. That is
Baccio,
yes, that is my personal favorite from the house. I was really captivated by that raspberry leather just experiment that I got to my nose. But then you have the juggernaut of course, Trifle-Bacchus, the extrait of Trifle-Bacchus, Fall of Phaeton, Danae, which is another favorite of mine, which is wild. It is a wild fragrance. The two new, there's just so many. And you can get a sample pack as well. These beautiful sample bags that come with Argos.
Yeah. So those are felt and those are embroidered.
Yes, they are. They're beautiful. Quality is second to none. And here is a card example of Neptune's Trident. And you get this with any fragrance that you want to sample in this sample pack. This is what you get. Yeah. That a focus. This is what you get.
We do have the extrait sample pack available now. So if you've already, you've purchased everything, all the EDPs up until the new, since Hiron's Veil, and you just want to try the extraits, the Nemean Lion, TOB extrait, the two new ones, the Prima Vera, Neptune's Trident, and Hiron's Veil, those you can buy separately now.
They are available. So yes, experience them, sample them. I don't recommend blind buying, but I get it. All right. I totally get it. But sample. Again, you can use my code Dedrick10 for 10% off anything over at the House of Argos. And Christian, man, thank you yet again for carving out some time to come and rock out with myself and the Smell Good family and have a fragrance conversation, man, from all that you put out into the world when it comes to fragrances. I speak for myself, and I'm sure for a lot of people watching, that we appreciate it, man, because the creations and the thought and the energy and all the travel, everything that you do to really bring your brand to life, it resonates. And it definitely resonates with me because I'm a huge quality buff. I do not shortchange quality in my personal life and things that I do. And I just don't. I'm always looking for quality. And when I came across Argos, it was just the connection that I was looking for with what you provide, man. So shout out to you and all that you're doing in this space, Christian.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you and some of the others out there that are, really advocates, and they've been there from day one. Like I said, like you said, you had TOB, Baccio, and I think it was Ross or somebody, or maybe it was the Bishop, kind of connected us together somehow. But here we are, and I appreciate everybody that's out there that's rocking the brand, loving the brand, and really pushing me to create, new exceptional fragrances, because I don't want to put anything else out that I've already done. So you can expect that from me. Anything that I put out is going to be way different than the last one. It may use rose, may use raspberry, but it's going to be done in a whole different way. And it's going to be true to the story.
Absolutely, man. So looking forward to what's next, as always, from Argos. And hopefully we can have you back when you start, getting ready to, release new creations to the world, man. So looking forward to the next time, Christian, for sure.
Right, well, thanks for having me. Thanks, everybody who tuned in. I appreciate you all. And you all have a great evening.
Yes. And I have the links of the two new fragrances, Neptune's Trident, one last time. Neptune's Trident is in the link right now in the description of the live stream. You can tap into this beautiful summertime banger. It's going to be one of those ones, y'all, for sure. And then you have this, I don't know how else to put it, this unique beauty. This unique beauty in La Primavera right here. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Have the link to both of these fragrances right now. I will also put the link of my very first interview with Christian in the description of this live stream as well. And I release back-to-back videos on today and yesterday with the 2 new releases, first impression. So whole lot of content for you. If you're interested in Argos, take the time and check it out if you would like, and leave a comment. Let us know what you're thinking, and always looking for that interaction with you guys. So Smell Good family, we appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for taking the time out to rock out with us. We held about 95 to 100 viewers strong throughout an hour and a half of this live stream. So definitely appreciate, and just don't take it for granted. So until next time, y'all be cool, y'all be safe, y'all take care of yourselves, man. Enjoy the rest of your week, enjoy your weekend, have some fun, have some laughs, eat some good food, take a nap, do whatever it is that you want to do. Enjoy your weekend. All right. So as always, splack it up, splack it down, splack it that thing all around. And remember, what you put out into this world is exactly what you are going to get back. That's for sure. All right. Appreciate y'all. Till the next time. Peace, man. And of course, splack.